Good day, 9th graders! Ako nga pala si Sir Jonathan Campilia at narito ako upang kayo ay gabayan sa inyong pagkatuto para sa linggong ito. Anumang katanungan o karagdagang paglilinaw pagkatapos ng ating talakayan ay maaari ninyong ikonsulta sa inyong mga guro sa Mathematics 9. For this week's lesson, we will be discussing about joint variation. At the end of this video, we shall be able to illustrate situations that involve joint variation. Simulan natin ang ating talakayan sa pagbibigay kahulugan sa salitang joint variation. Joint variation describes a situation where one variable depends on two or more other variables and varies directly as each of them when the others are held constant. For joint variation, we will encounter the phrase, if A varies jointly as B and C. So for the first variable, the one before the term varies jointly, this is the dependent variable. Now, this dependent variable will change due to the values of the other two variables. In this case, we have B and C, which we consider as the independent variables. So this phrase can be translated into variation equation such that A is equal to K, B, C, where K is the constant of variation. Kung inyong mapapansin, katulad din ng joint variation ang direct variation na inyong natalakay noong unang linggo ng ikalawang markahan, kung saan ang direct variation ay may variation equation na y is equal to k times x. Para naman sa joint variation, ay meron tayong a is equal to k bc. Ang kaibahan lamang ay meron tayong isang independent variable sa direct variation, samantalang dalawa o higit pang independent variables sa joint variation. Tandaan, ang talakayang ito ay magsisilbing gabay ninyo upang masagot ang Activity 1 entitled Joint Together. For this activity, we are going to translate situations into variation equation. Upang higit ninyong maunawaan, subukan natin ang mga sumusunod na halimbawa. Example number 1. The area A of a rectangle varies jointly as the length L and the width W. The variable before the phrase varies jointly is A, which we consider now as the dependent variable. On the other hand, variables L and W are considered as independent variables. So, we could translate this situation as A is equal to K, L, W. Always remember that K is the constant of variation, meaning it is always present in our variation equation. Example number 2. The cost C of busing students for each school trip varies jointly with the number of students N attending and the distance D from the school. Again, the variable before the phrase varies jointly is C, which represents the dependent variable. Variables N and D represent the independent variables. So, we could translate this as C is equal to K, N, D. As simple as that. Next example. The volume of a cone V varies jointly as its height h and the square of its radius r. In this example, V is the dependent variable because it is the variable before the phrase varies jointly, while H and R are considered as independent variables. So it could be translated as V is equal to K H R squared. As you can see, R is squared because of the statement square of its radius. Example number 4. For a given interest rate, simple interest I varies jointly as principal P and time T. Again, the variable before the phrase varies jointly is I, which now represent the dependent variable, while P and T are the independent variables. To translate this into variation equation, we have I is equal to K P T. Remember that K is the constant of variation. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for the next virtual instruction.